let's talk about the sales pitch. You know, for a lot of us, just hearing those two words is enough to make our heart beat a little faster. But what if we could change that? What if a pitch wasn't about high-pressure performance, but really about preparation and just making a connection? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down how to build the perfect pitch and turn that fear into some serious, focused confidence. So if you're one of those people's palms get a little sweaty, what's the secret, right? Well, you're definitely not alone, and the key isn't some secret handshake or a magic phrase. Nope, it's actually a fundamental shift in how you think about the whole thing, getting away from selling and moving towards something totally different. And there it is. That's the secret right there. The core idea is that buyers, whether they're at a huge retailer or a local restaurant, they want to work with people they know and trust. So your number one job isn't to sell a product, it's to start building that trust. The sale, that becomes the natural, easy result of a good relationship, not the other way around. To get you there, we're going to walk through a really clear 4-phase process. We'll start with the foundation, the homework. Then we'll move into crafting your content, focus on the delivery, and finally we'll nail the follow-through. Think of it as your roadmap from start to finish. All right, first up, phase 1, the foundation. And believe it or not, the most important part of your pitch happens way before you even walk into the room. This is where you really set yourself up for a win. This is so important. Your pitch, it isn't actually about you. It's about them. It's about their world. When you do your homework, you're showing them you've invested time to understand their business, their customers, their problems. It proves you care, and that right there immediately sets you apart from everybody else. And look, homework doesn't have to be boring. Get out there. Go see how their business actually works. Walk their stores. How would your product look on their shelves or fit on their menu? What are their customers actually saying? Who are they competing against? Every little piece of information you find is ammunition to tailor your pitch perfectly to what they need. So all that awesome research you did, it leads us right into phase 2, the content. Now it's time to take everything you've learned and build the actual story you're going to tell. Remember, a great pitch is really just a great story. It needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. You introduce yourself, you explain your product, and, this is crucial, your why. Why are you so passionate about it? And then you connect every single point back to the research you did. Show them you get the market, and more importantly, show them how you can solve their specific challenges. Okay, this side right here is huge. This is probably the most common mistake people make. Nobody, and I mean nobody, buys a feature. They buy a solution to their problem. So don't just tell them what your product has, tell them what it's going to do for them. Always frame your features as direct benefits. And that leads us to your value proposition. In a super crowded market, you have to be able to say in a heartbeat what makes you different and what makes you better. Is it your quality, your price, your crazy good customer service? Whatever it is, that statement needs to be crystal clear in your pitch. Okay, let's move on to phase 3, the delivery. You can have the best research and the most amazing content on the planet, but if the delivery falls flat, well, so does the whole pitch. This is where you bring that story to life. I know, it might feel super awkward, but trust me, this is a total game changer. You want your pitch to roll off your tongue so smoothly that it sounds natural, not like you're reading a script. And recording yourself, it's the absolute best way to catch any weird habits, check your tone, and see if your body language screams confidence. And seriously, do not underestimate this. If you're not excited about your own product, why on earth would a buyer be? Your passion is contagious. That genuine belief in what you're selling is one of your most powerful tools. It builds trust and makes people lean in and listen. Ah, yes, the classic fear. You're in the zone, everything's going great, and then, bam! They hit you with a question from left field, and you have no idea what the answer is. What do? Do you panic? Make something up? No, absolutely not. The best thing you can say is something simple and honest. Saying this doesn't make you look weak, it makes you look credible. It shows you care about getting it right. And hey, it turns a moment of uncertainty into another great reason to follow up and keep that relationship going. Which brings us perfectly to our final section, phase 4, the follow-through. Here's the thing. The pitch isn't over when you stop talking. In a lot of ways, the real work is just getting started. Just let that sink in for a second. You could have the best meeting of your life. But if you don't have a professional and persistent follow-up plan, it could all be for nothing. This is where you prove you're reliable and that you really truly want their business. Okay, let's be real for a moment. You're going to hear no, probably more often than you hear yes, especially when you're starting out. The key is to not take it personally. Rejection is just a normal part of the process. It's not a final judgment on you or your product. Instead of just walking away, treat a no as a chance to learn. Ask for feedback. What were their concerns? What would need to be different for them to say yes down the road? I'm telling you, that kind of feedback is absolute gold. It'll help you crush your very next meeting.
And before you walk out of that meeting, always make sure they have everything they need to make a decision. A nice little package with your card, a clear sell sheet, your pricing, and of course, a sample of your product. It just makes their job so much easier.
This is so important to remember. Just because you don't hear back doesn't mean they're not interested. People are incredibly busy. Emails get buried. It is your job to politely stay on their radar. Follow up consistently until you get a clear yes or a clear no. Persistence pays off. So to wrap it all up, there you have it, the 4 pillars of a perfect pitch. You start with a rock-solid foundation of research. You use that knowledge to craft a story that's all about solutions. You bring it all to life with a practiced, confident delivery, and you seal the deal with a masterful follow-through. At the end of the day, a great pitch is just a great story, told well, to the right person. By focusing on these 4 phases, you can totally move from fear to focus and turn your next pitch from a stuffy presentation into a really powerful conversation. So, the only question left is, are you ready to tell your story?